hey, Momcult listeners. How you doing? Is everybody hanging in there this week? I sure hope so. I just wanted to pop in real quick before we start our episode with Liz, the lovely Liz. Our first mom therapy episode with Jenny Black is going to be coming up soon, and we would love to hear more from you guys about topics that you would like to hear discussed. Feel free to DM us on our Instagram page or just comment on one of our posts. Either way, we'll get it. We do have an email address technically, but I've never used it, so I'm a little wary of that route. It's just one more thing I don't feel like figuring out how to do. But without further ado, enjoy today's episode of the Momcult Podcast.
Which thing is it? Oh, got it. Okay. Hello, Momcult listeners. This will be our first Momcult ever with kids present. I think we might have had a baby on the ground before, but today we have a 2. Is he 2? No, he's 1. But he's walking. It's very impressive. 1 and 4-year-old. So our guest today is a Korean American. She is an Army brat. She's one of 2 biological daughters to Chong, me, and Joseph Carl. She has 3 siblings by her stepmom. She went to school for art and education with a minor in English. She's turning 40 this month. She does not look 40. That's confusing. Okay. She's super good at having babies. She loves Jesus the most. She's been married for 10 years, and she has 5 babies. I happen to know that she had them, and correct me if I'm wrong, all in a bathtub.
One of them came too soon, and so she came out in my short.
In her shorts.
Yeah. Thankfully, I put them on. I was determined to leave the house, and it didn't happen. I put those shorts on.
And I saw her give a maid of honor speech recently at a wedding, and I went over to her and I was like, if you start a church, I would go to that church. So I was like, this is all really based in fact. This feels like well researched and historically based. This is
true
like
theology.
Yeah, feels true. And she's wonderful. Her name is Liz Stoner. Her maiden name is Thielman. Is that right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Welcome.
Yes. Hi, Liz.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
So great. Thanks for bearing with me.
Oh, you're fine. You're handling it great.
Of course. It's not my kid. I don't care.
You know what? That's a bag of just toys right there that he can play with. And I don't want him to get a paper cup, but he can take that Phillips Toy Mart bag. If you want to grab that, he can open that.
See, I'm still hungry that he's going to go to sleep so soon.
Yeah, we were talking about when she got here, how just anytime you try to go, okay, you know what? I can make this work. You're already taking a somewhat complicated situation and you're trying to look at it like the mom professional point of view and go like, okay, I got this. Like I'm going to get there, set up a movie for the older kid. I'm going to wait to feed him until we get there so that when I can nurse him and he'll be asleep for the whole recording. And then it's like they know.
Yeah.
They know we're trying to make it work.
But I hear people say they block things from that time period. And like, he's walking, and I know it's not, I don't think average, but it's normal to walk at 1, but I've completely blocked all that. I was like, wow, it's tiny.
True. He's still led by his head, the size of his head.
Goes whichever way it leans.
And I'm like, now like napping, I do remember, but it's, you block it all.
I know. I don't know how much longer I have.
You block it so that,
napping.
Biology kicks in, you have another one.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what's happening. I'm like, that was so easy.
After which kid did they just start like falling out of you into your shorts? What number kid was that?
That was actually after the first. My first was the biggest. She paved the way. The second was the smallest, so she just had a slick slide situation. The rest had a little bit of friction.
This little one's name is Geronimo, which I think is incredible. I love that name. Very cute.
Yeah, my husband gave the kids all their first names, and I tried to fight for my right to middle names, but I didn't even get all the middle names.
Dang.
Wow, you let him do that.
He's just
good at it. Those are good names.
I had to
just like recognize his gift for naming.
Okay.
He's a wordsmith also, so I guess, and it fits them. I think they're all really
well named,
pretty fitted. Yes. We have a kid named Rambo, and I neither of you has spent time with her, but her middle name is Sterling. She's very pure, but she is a force. Like she, with a machete, she just, it all goes down, but she'll stop at every wounded child and nurse them to health.
And there's a lot of wounded children around.
All around her.
The
everything
Rambo
she
we've
can-
all been waiting for.
It's her. Her 6-year-old self is mighty.
I had a cat named Rambo.
I told my husband, so to my credit, I think my second born, she's Maple Lillian, and he wanted to name our son. We didn't figure out the sexes of any baby before we had him. And he wanted to name the second one Rambo. And so I say, to my credit, it took me 2 years of brainwashing to then be okay for my third born, who it was really made for anyway. Yes. But I told him, you could name a dog. If we could have a dog, you could name a dog Rambo.
Yeah.
It just took time.
That's a really cool name.
It fits her. Everyone who knows her says yes. But many people who don't know her really hope that we named her Rainbow. And I say, no.
No.
No, you
Actually,
misheard.
Spend a minute. You will see.
Well, how's like the last week been?
I think it was great. I constantly feel like, oh yeah, sure, I'm sure it was great. And then I think back through things like, well, actually, I think I have this chronic optimism. I just feel like, we got to keep going. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it was, I can't think of any. Oh, we had a bout of hand, foot, mouth.
Fun.
But so we had that, but we waited for a really long weekend, which was awesome.
Yeah.
We went fishing and just hung out. So we had a 5-day weekend. Purposely kept him out to make sure it would just stop with us.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel like it's really gross. I never had hand, foot, mouth.
Yeah, we haven't dealt with that yet.
Yeah, and so maybe it's because we're rural, but it made for a really good weekend where we just got to take it easy and watch movies on nights we wouldn't, and
sometimes
swim.
I feel like I'm mostly annoyed when anybody gets sick, but there are moments where it's like, oh, well, we just have to sit here and watch a movie then, I guess. It's not so bad.
Yeah.
I'm like, cancel everything. Can't go.
Sorry.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I guess it depends what I have going on.
And to
I
what
have something
level
to
the
care
sickness
about.
Yeah, that's right.
is. Yeah.
What?
And to what level the sickness is,
Yes.
it wasn't that bad. Thankfully.
Right.
It was
Right. If they're like
already
really
over.
uncomfortable, that's like,
Yeah.
that's hard.
The one toy that he's found is just a blank 10 by 10 canvas that he's just loving attacking the wall with.
I still have to fight this embarrassment of not having, perfect still children with pressed clothes on. But I think
I've never had time for that.
No, do you know anybody like also that? I mean, like, all due respect, if you have that, that's really impressive. And like, I'm happy for you if you're listening to this and whatever. But,
and you're
I
not
don't-
real tired.
yeah, but I don't think so. It's like this, kids shouldn't really be sitting still.
Steel.
Yeah.
Steel. I'm rural too.
Geronimo, you need to sit still. Come on now.
Yes. Well, the Army and the Korean in me says, no, they
No.
really should. Yes.
Gotcha.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm recovering.
Yeah.
My children shall be children.
Yeah.
A recovering
despite me.
Korean.
Yeah.
Yeah. You really went the opposite way of that.
That's true. But I do have to change his diaper. I just smell it.
By the way, that saint is very well behaved. Do you never use wipes?
Like if we're camping or something, when we were in Alaska, that's when I had Geronimo, and it was a dry cabin. So we used wipes. Well,
It was a what?
A dry cabin, no running water. So we had to bring in all our own water.
Yeah.
So then we used wipes. That was the biggest wipe using time in my life this last year.
I was going to get into that. You moved to Alaska and you had 4 kids?
I was pregnant. Well, we didn't move there. We had 2 summers there.
Okay.
And then this summer we were home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does he have family there? Or was Alaska why Alaska?
Brandon spent his 20s in Alaska. So it was kind of his adopted home.
Okay.
And so we got to go back there. Brandon, my husband, is an arborist. So he gets to do tree health or tree removals. And so we just had a connection to a tree company there in Fairbanks and got to go hang out.
Does that?
Yeah.
Okay. Does it make you nervous whenever he's up in a tree?
It's like, I think it's dropped down to number 2 deadliest job in America.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe I don't want to say globally. I don't want to exaggerate, but at least in the States. So I'm glad we've dropped to number 2. But it is a lot. I just pray and I hold my breath and yeah. It's a lot. Man.
That's a cool job though.
It is. I think he's built for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of Parker's like my favorite moments from school is when we had that windstorm a few months ago and one of the dads came and like hooked up all of his stuff and chainsawed down the tree that fell. I mean, he still talks about it all over.
That's
Like had all that because they have to like
job.
pull up.
It's amazing.
thing he did it.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's cool. I mean, I guess you know. What's the
All
number
too
one
well.
most dangerous now?
Yeah, I was going to ask.
We should probably just Google it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe like deep water fishing, something like that.
Really?
I think so.
That's interesting.
It's up there. I'm going to.
Oh, like diving.
No, I think fishermen in boats and storms and just doing all those big catches.
Like the Alaska things. Yeah.
I mean, they call it
that
the
is
deadliest
dangerous.
catch for a reason,
Right,
y'all.
right. Sorry, yeah. Those guys, not like in the Gulf. Like, they're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Gulf people are fine.
Yeah. I like, please. That's not. Where I grew up, it's really close to the coast. I wonder if I've said this here before, but that whenever like a lot of people went and worked on offshore oil rigs, and I would always say that's, I don't know if I said this. My sister always says that I said this, but that's where you go to make that good money.
That sounds like a story of something you said one time that your whole family never forgot. I feel like I have some
I
of
don't
those.
think I said that.
How old were you when you maybe said that?
I don't know. I don't know if I said
like
that.
if a 7-year-old said that, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Right. So I imagine 7-year-old.
I think I was like 7.
Yeah, exactly then.
How was your week, Sarah?
It's been good. Mom-wise, super good. I should have like written down a check-in, but I guess I'll just be vulnerable. We had couples therapy yesterday. And for anybody who's known me a long time, this might be funny, but I have this, especially in like a moment of discord, like a thing of like I'll compulsively text. I just really want to get my point across, and I'll struggle to say what I mean in person. And I really try not to do that, but especially with Eric and I, if I want to convey something, then and after the fact or after like a disagreement, in lieu of having the conversation, then I'll like say what I want to say in a text. I made the point. Okay. But our therapist says, don't do that. Under no circumstances. There's like this whole process for not doing that. And it's like, I just gone through the same thing like 7 times. Like, please don't do that. Anyway, I came up with, or she was like, we're finding the root of that. She's pretty good at that. Just like, I don't know why. She'll just ask a certain question and I'll be like, oh, there's this one time, or like this thing. And I used to say this prayer when I was little every single night. And I've told it in like a funny way before.
Dear Jesus, help me make that good money.
An offshore oil rig. Where I would say, please don't let there be anyone or anything in this entire house, upstairs and down, inside and out, on top and underneath and all around and inside and out of everyone and everything except for me and mom and daddy, all this night long, in the morning part of the night and the actual morning. Wow. And that was like part of like a longer prayer. The point was, it's like a safety thing and taking care of the people around me thing and like a wanting to preserve the most important thing to me. And it was like I know that Eric's my family and Parker's my family, but I'm super close with my family, a little codependent with my family. And it's been like a long process of recognizing this family as my family. Mm-hmm. And that hit me like, not like I get to keep texting because of that's me like preserving the, like a desperate attempt to like convey my message in a way that makes sense via text. But my point is just like recognizing this your current nuclear family as your family, that has like been a long process for me. And I think I'm coming to a place where that's like more complete. And I think for some people that's easier than others. And that might sound weird to some people, but anyway, It's a positive thing. I don't know if I made that, did I do full circle? Was that the whole?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. It was like meaningful. And so, yeah, when I saw Eric earlier, I was like, a family.
You're my family, bro.
Yeah.
Love you.
Basically like that. And he was like, what?
That's great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. Speaking of, Liz and I were in a wedding with our friend Sissy. Shout out Sissy. You were the maid of honor, the real, like, the very maid of honor. And we were really on top of it.
I was a matron. I kind of had to say this because there was this morning, I knew that I would never be a maid of honor once I was married. So I was a matron.
I said this in a text to all the other bridesmaids. It was like the most, I don't know, very like a open, vulnerable, emotional, not making themselves vulnerable in like a way. You know what I mean? Y'all know what I mean? It was inspiring, that group of women.
Man, it was, you're just exactly right. With all their different abilities or sensibilities and capabilities, it was just a group of really selfless women who could be meek, who could put themselves in the background to be part of the greater whole. It was wonderful.
Yeah. Anyway, not to talk about something you didn't know about.
It's okay.
But you do know about it because you're that kind of lady too.
Yeah.
And you look good in dresses. Yes. Short ones because you have great legs.
Thank you.
Wow.
She does. I know.
Should have had you on sooner.
I'm a little, I want him to keep touching that. I'm just a little nervous. That thing falls and I don't want him to get hurt, but I think it'll be fine. I can't remember.
He loves receipts too, so that this is over here.
Parker loves receipts still. He says, I want that thing that he wants to fold it and carry it around. Are you done having kids?
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. It's crazy to think I'll be 40 or later if I have another kid. I'm going to be over 40 when I started at 29. And that's kind of crazy, but I'm open to it. So that I always think, well, and it's, if it happens, if we stay with the rhythm that we've been going, it's due.
Right.
We're due for that positive pregnancy.
Did you always picture that?
I think I did with even before I knew Brandon. I had talked to at least one previous relationship, but this guy was like, yeah, we'll just have a small bus full of children in our family. And so I was open to that. And then after I had that first child, I was like, no. No. This is quite a bit. But then after I had Wyoming, that second period, I thought that was a baby. I could have had it. And then I'm ready, I guess, to be pregnant again.
Right.
So that said,
like just that feeling keeps coming back after every kid. At some point you hit like a baby fever a little bit.
No, I would say that may have been my only baby fever awareness. But when my feelings after one baby, knowing how hard it was physically, like my first time giving birth, but I said I'm good at giving birth, but that was a lot to go through. And being separate, we'd moved around a lot the whole time. And so just for all the reasons of having a child is hard for that first experience. I thought, oh no, this one might be it. And so then now here we are. And I really, just this last year, I don't know, we should finish check-ins, shouldn't we?
And the only thing I could think of for my check-in was that we're potty training and she's kind of barricaded in the living room. We've got a door for one side of the room and then the baby gate on the other side going into the kitchen. And so her little toilet is just in the living room. And I don't feel like opening any of the doors to go to the bathroom to dump out the little toilet. So I just open the front door and like toss it into the bushes. But every single time I do it, I feel like a chambermaid. And I like want to get like a full outfit that I start, like a bonnet that I start putting on.
A sleep cap you put on. And then the accent, whatever accent you have to do. Yes, ma'am.
Look out below. That's it. Just flinging a bunch of urine all over my yard every day.
Yeah. He did very few of those. He was so big, it's like tall, big, whatever. We had to get one of those that sat on the toilet pretty quickly. And I don't remember him doing, I don't know if he ever pooped in that. We're in a phase if he talks about poop a lot.
Oh, nice. Yeah. She like bends down, but way too early, and then just walks backward with her head between her legs until she finds the toilet to sit on it.
That's pretty cute.
A couple times she sat like right on the front part that comes up, and I'm like, ah.
Oh, man. I just want her to react in her English accent too.
Yeah, all my kids need accents. It's a requirement to be my child. I think that's so interesting that you can have your first kid and have that like, ooh, this was more than I thought it would be, and then go on to have 4 more.
Yeah.
And all like voluntarily. They were all like, you guys were trying.
No.
Oh, okay.
We were just open to it. Like, we were never, even that first one, we were like, oh, hi, what's your name again? Oh, well, look, we're pregnant.
What's the quickest after you had a baby that you got pregnant again?
I have a whole year of not having a period. Every baby has been a whole year. So the first one was, I think they're 21 months between my first 2 kids. So still like good pace.
Yeah.
Like, definitely regular, but nice little gaps.
Yeah.
And I really do think that there are people out there that they are their best selves or feel their best selves as like a mother in a mother type role. Do you feel that about yourself, or are there parts of yourself that you're like, when am I going to get back to that? Or are you content being a full-time mama?
I think this is probably the first year, the first Geronimo, my last baby, is the first season where I've been fully into it. It took me 10 years, I think, to I don't know what it was. I'm still figuring it out. So I've different, but I'm processing this, that this is the most comfortable I've ever been as a mother. This is finally my first title is mother. And I celebrate. I don't know if it's been, for our generations like, no, you can, what all the magazines, you can have your career, have a mother, be like all these things, right? And I was like, well, I'm still fighting to be an artist. I'm still fighting to be my own unique, special person. And I all my ideology all my foundation is that no, family is the best. It's a process. It's a gift to be family. It's a reflection of Jesus to the church. And that's beautiful and holy. And so I think it helped me that in my foundation, I really had these strong ideals, but it was so hard to have, because I think in a lot of ways, like I'm a fun person to be around, but Sissy, who was my roommate, my sister, who was my roommate, like my parents who know me, my husband who knows me, they're like, you're not that easy to live with, Liz. You could pick up the slack, Liz. So I'm finally like, okay, it's my joy to wash the dishes. It is my, and I don't do it well. You just see the mountain that I had this last week 2 times, giant. And I feel like, why are these mountains happening? So I'm figuring out the efficiency of, I say like, I probably have a strong D+ in domestic arts. Like, I'm in that headspace now. Like, okay, so I understand, I think, why 60-year-olds are able to be at peace and look back and have this graciousness, or I've been thankful to have these gracious older people around me. Like this, you're in these sweet moments. This is the best it's ever going to be. And my husband's been saying that. And so it's changing. Like we have a porch that's cluttered, or we have like trim that's not on the walls, or we have blah, 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 all the projects that are half done, or these things were just, but then I changed my mindset. Like this is just our clubhouse. We get to have fun in this clubhouse. We get to express ourselves. We're creating our culture in this clubhouse instead of conforming to some ideal, like amazing Pinterest mom or whatever the today's things are. Let me just be right here and chat that mindset. So the original question about have I been made for? I know that when I had Wyoming, I said it's the hardest job I've ever done, but it's the most natural that's ever come to me. And it's made me the best. It's been the most formative for me. I think being a family member, being a mother, there are these, chemicals that happen that make us good at it. They give us this push toward it. But then being a wife has been the hardest thing ever. To be a family member, though, has been the biggest molding instrument in my life, man. So I think care about my character. I care about, so I embrace these things for that, but I see how sloppy it is. Or like my sister who is so strong and doesn't pull punches and can err on the critical. She'll see and she'll say, so what are you living in poverty, Liz? That was the first year. I was like, yes, we are. This is exactly, yes, that. But it was so good. Or like, who says it has to be a certain number? It has to be a certain way. I don't know. So what about the rest of the world? We are still, even though I'm in poverty, Lil, I'm still the 1%. Like, come on, that's perspective. I'm okay. Right. So just, it's a holy, holy mess. Yeah. I feel good at being both those parts. I'm now in the most comfortable place where I am holy and I love that, and I am a mess and I'm okay with it. I love that too, because it all just comes together and it's all so good.
Right. And finally kind of stopped fighting and just fully embraced.
Yeah. I like to think that in 5 more years or 5 more months, it'll be even more fully embraced, that this isn't, I just know that it's the right track.
Yeah. Yeah. I fight that saying. That's fun to think of it like that. That it's a clubhouse. Because we're in my office, which, a lot of it's pretty, but then there's just like so much clutter. I always have clutter, and then the house needs to be painted, whatever. And every time somebody comes here, I think about that, and there's all these anxieties, and it's like.
It's so beautiful here.
Oh, well, thank you.
So relieved. I'm always so relieved when I go into someone's house and see clutter. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
God, I'm not the only one.
It just normalizes.
Yeah.
It's like, yes.
Yeah. I really like to look at people's laundry rooms, because that's like usually like there's some kind of weak spot, although sometimes not. But anyway,
I love that.
Or not, and then what you're dealing with at the laundry room. Really organized.
Oh, that's really funny. That's a good little litmus test.
Yeah.
Now maybe I'll focus only on the laundry room.
Just keeping that clean. Start there.
But Brandon, look at the laundry room. Huh?
Well, hey guys, did you know that Mr. Aaron's Good now has not only new expanded hours, which are Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 2, and Saturdays, 9 to noon, or, whenever they sell out, which they probably will. But they also have a grab-and-go cooler now, which makes it even easier to just walk in, grab what you want, the pasta, the bagels, or the specialty goods, the sauces, and you can get 20% off your entire purchase for a limited time. Just use code MOMCULT at checkout at MrAaronsGoods.com. That is MrAaronsGoods.com. They are located in TKO in East Nashville. And also, not to mention, they have so many different cuts of pasta. And if you want a specific bagel or cut of pasta, you can always order online for pickup. Mr. Aaron's Goods. It's local, it's family owned and operated, good people, and it's got the good goods.
What is, if there is one, the biggest struggle for you in this time period? I mean, does that feel like what it is?
I feel like a ridiculous question.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, and with having the children, even after it was 1 or 2, and I would say those early ones are the hardest transition anymore. I have a 10-year-old helper, like, do this with the baby, do this. Like,
yeah.
And really my second born 8-year-old, and she's a natural mom. They all are such helpers. But, so the hardest thing, right? That's the question. What's
biggest
the
struggle?
Biggest struggle.
I think I just have it all really good. The dishes are
The dishes.
because so my husband is the cook. He embraces cooking. He likes it as an art, and I just will eat whatever is on cardboard and be fine with it. Put some salt on it, and so he would see the sink as this. I just realized this that it's the tool for making things, and I see it as a container for all the dirty dishes. And so he will say, like, Liz, what did you do all day? And that's a terrible question anyway, as a mom.
Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, question.
So angry. I was like, do you not see? And he would say, the dishes aren't done. And it was sinking to me, and it made everything else that I tried to do for him. And that was my error, to do things for him instead of internalizing things, not working for a gold star, which is another chronic thing. So he would say, what? Why? Nothing's done. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Do you know how many laundries I did, or that I finally did the kids?
That all these kids
whatever.
are still breathing.
Exactly. Thank you so much. And I have a couple houseplants.
Yeah.
But then when I realized that, okay, this isn't a container, because all the dirty dishes are right here.
Oh, I do it too. I will
to
just want the counter clean, and I'll put everything in the sink. And Jeremy, I'll put the cutting board in the sink, and that's like a big pet peeve of his because it takes up so much space. He's like, why is everything piled in the sink? It makes doing the dishes like things might break because they're all just kind of piled in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my brain just needs to see the clean counter.
Yeah.
I don't care what's in the sink. And he cares what's in the sink.
So I think that Brandon and I'm so thankful to say that this is kind of the hardest thing, because he even, like, weeks and weeks, it felt like that was the morning conversation. That was after work. It's like, okay, but anyway, I don't want to relive those conversations.
Right.
But to say that we're at an understanding now that like, okay, we're just going to both like focus on our own lives and try to be better for our house. And so knowing that that's the desire of the other's heart, there's more grace or kindness just for us to just enjoy when we are together.
Yeah. I will say, if I am going to cook dinner and there is a sink full of dirty dishes, it makes me immediately not want to cook dinner.
Me too. It makes me mad.
Like, I want to start
I can't relate
with
to that.
with a clean slate. I want to start with, I'm dirtying the first dishes by cooking, not, well, I got to go do these dishes before I can even start cooking.
Yeah. But for our specific dynamic, because that's like his one of his contributions, then if I come in and that's not done, then I feel, whatever. Not like I'm saying Brandon's right. I mean, but I know what you mean. And you're talking about, I feel like, benefit of the doubt, like going like, regardless, I know that you wanted me to have the thing, and that's such a big deal for us always.
Well, and it's just getting to, I feel like one of the hardest parts with marriage and communication is not even about the tasks themselves or what everyone's triggers are. It's like, what about that is a trigger for you? Why does this bother you so much? And I'm going to forget that it's about the dishes and try to go a level beyond that and go, oh, this person just cares about this thing. And I'm going to try to have some understanding and empathy that that's something that's important to you. And it's not, try not to take it personally and just help facilitate you feeling good when you get home. And, and hopefully that's happening in return as well. But, I feel like it's always shifting. It's hard to keep that even all the time. Like, oh, you're doing this for me and I'm doing this for you. And we're working in harmony here. And then obviously the more kids you add in, just starts tearing that harmony apart on a daily basis.
Man. So there's something to us, because we were really thrown in that first season of knowing each other. Brandon and I, we met at Cornerstone Christian Music Festival. And then like 6 months later, I think we were getting married and we were pregnant already. And so we moved. So we were away from both our families, any sort of friend support system, starting in a new place. And it was just hitting the ground running. So again, I'm sure there were these good moments. And again, I'm chronically positive. So, and I'm like an ostrich with its little head in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
So I just survive. But really, I knew that it was going to be hard marriage, but I trusted that Brandon had a real relationship with Jesus apart from me and that I had something apart from him. So that was kind of our foundation and anchor, that no matter what, Jesus is the referee, or Jesus is the one who has this. So it takes pressure off of me. Like I said, holy mess. I'm not my own holy mess. Jesus has claimed me and that I don't have to fix myself, because this perfectionism of whatever, firstborn, Korean, like having this certain way of needing to be seen, like saying, okay, none of that now, or all of it. That my tendencies in that, Jesus, it's all yours. And I'm just going to take a step back now. But we've had the best time in this last year, and like hardest moments, biggest confessions in this last year. And that's been the most community. I think all of it speaks. I think the people who are like you being with your significant other and knowing each other and being known and having this time when you're yourselves with each other, like, I think it probably makes for a different experience. But again, so maybe you could tell us about that too. And how long?
Me?
You guys were together for a long time.
Long time.
Since little babies.
We're going on 21
It's amazing.
years.
That's crazy.
I know.
And it's so easy now, right?
It's so
years makes it
easy.
so easy.
Every day is a breeze, y'all. But did you ask me a specific question?
What was the question?
It was, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I kind of want to think, a lot of our hardships came because we
jumped
went
into
so
it.
Right.
Right.
Like all of this is so hard. But is it, and I don't necessarily, grass is never greener, right?
Right.
So it's just, it's a similar animal, but with different, but different. And
yeah, we were so young, so we didn't really know ourselves yet. And you're just kind of hoping that you'll both morph into people that still are compatible and still want to be together. And I think we've gotten really lucky in that regard.
Amazing. So I everything in me, I think, fights against that. That's luck. I think you're both purpose people. Maybe a lot of pro is that you were young and whether you knew it or not, you did create this central culture and community between these, like, really foundational.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. I think the hardest part was not the hardest part, but I think when I had Ava, like becoming a mom was the first time that it just kind of pushed me. I think I'd resented for a long time, feeling like I was kind of just living his life, like kind of along for the ride. Mm-hmm. When we got married and he started DJing and throwing parties and he just kind of started going. And I was like, oh, I don't really have a specific path set yet or something. So I guess I'm just going to do this too. And I think I got a little lost in there for a while. And then having Ava really forced me to be like, okay, I gotta find like something outside of this baby and outside of Jeremy and just something that I can like pull energy from. I don't want to get it from anybody in this house because it is hard just as a family unit. The way you rely on each other and what you need from each other is a lot. And I think it's so important for you to have resources outside of that to give you energy that isn't taking from your spouse that's already expending their own energy.
Yeah.
That's a good. What are you able to do for yourself?
I think.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of self-care?
Can you
People say that. It's like a.
Yeah, I think that might be another reason this is, again, the most intentional time we've had in our marriage so far. We did Dave Ramsey class. Yeah. And so not only are we for the first time ever, budgeting finances, which brings such freedom. We're budgeting time too. So every week we know, like Mondays are his day. He comes to Nashville and records music, and that's so life-giving. And then Thursday is fine. Like this will be my second Thursday where I'm going to have my own evening with people in 10 years.
Wow. Isn't that wild?
It is. So I think really, I don't do all when you had that baby and you're like, I'm with this baby all the time. This baby needs me. I'm feeding this baby from my body. And then you get around another adult or you're at a playground and you're like, somebody, eye contact. I'm like, yes, people, here. Hi, I'm hungry. You feed me.
Yeah.
So I think in all the in-betweens, because church is huge for community and like that's always been pretty regular for us. And so having people around has been good. But I really, in this season, I'm at a place where like, I'm just looking at my kids and thinking, hey, I want to hang out with you. Hey, I want to
miss
hear
you.
Yeah. I want you to miss me. I want you to like me. And so we're investing in really great ways. But I will tonight. I'm going to meet up with my pal Kathy. So it's I'm excited, and it feels like last week I didn't prepare my Thursday night,
plan
so
something.
I was like, Walmart, here we come. It was awesome. And we're really spread out. You asked earlier where we are rurally. We're an hour and a half out. It took an hour 37 minutes to come here.
Jeez.
Yeah. And
when I got your text at like 9, you're like, on my way. I was like, wait, where does she live?
I feel pretty bad.
No, but
hey, she wanted to be in person.
Exactly.
Where are, I mean, the people aren't going to know, but where are you?
Hohenwald.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Love it out there.
I know my parents have a membership at the
Elephant
Thousand Acres.
1,000 Trail, but we're a mile from there.
That's crazy.
That's right where we are. Past Meriwether Lewis. Shoto.
I've taken the girls out there twice, so next time I'll make sure and come see you.
That's crazy.
But again, I knew, okay, it works out because I'm going to drop the kids off at school. I have three that are at this little school over there, and I'm going to drop them off and just beeline it here. And it is. Oh, sorry. Baby toes kicking the mic stand.
He's sleepy now. I see it in his eyes.
Yeah.
He's going to fall asleep literally as we press stop the record. He is. That is.
I can tell he's fighting it though, man. He didn't want to keep that leg still.
Joy, I've said this to you before, but when you were talking earlier about triggers and the thing under the trigger and then recognizing like what the other person needs and all that stuff, like periodically I'll be like, oh, it's like, I'm sure you weren't born with it, or maybe you were, but you like have the therapy tools that I'll forget or that it's taken me all this time to like have any semblance of understanding of them. It seemed to me that you like came into life with those, or as far as I've known you, I mean, you kind of seem like you've been in a lot of therapy already, even though you haven't. So maybe that's just like.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sarah. I think you've just been very self-possessed since I've known. I think you're very comfortable, and I think that speaks a lot because you're, regardless of what's going on around you or who does the things around you, you're very anchored. Like they can be themselves. I'm gonna still be whole over here. Maybe that's because you have some generous understanding, like crazy existing around you.
Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, they're such a sleepy boy.
He is so stinking cute.
This is a very cute baby, you guys.
It makes all the
noise.
His little eyebrows.
He's like handsome already.
Yeah, he's like a little model.
Yeah,
what's going?
He's
your
like
haircut.
good looking.
Any particular?
Any
birth out of the 5 that was either like the most traumatic or the most beautiful or the most, I don't know. Does anything stick out? Which one's your favorite, basically?
I'll try a brief overview of them, and then you can ask questions.
Yeah,
about a
highlight reel
moment. Wyoming was our first. We were in Texas, and Texas is this incredible mecca of natural childbirth. Like I got tired of looking up midwives, so I just picked one, and it was an amazing experience. So we went to a birth center, and she was born in a tub. Brandon was in the tub with me, and it was really hearing other people's birth stories. It was incredible. It was awesome. So that was a water birth at a birth center. And number 2, we were back in Tennessee, and I thought, well, the first one was 14 hours. So this one will probably be shorter than that, but we'll have time. So then she came at one in the morning or something. We had after like 3 hours of contractions. And again, I'm putting my shorts on. We were in Madison and the placenta was bulging out of me. And
Wow.
I was like, Brandon, is this normal? And he's always, so every birth, he is calm as can be. He's like, yeah, I don't know. So he called the birth center. Hey, I feel like my body's telling me I have to push. He's like, get off the phone with me. Better call 911. So we called 911 and I was standing by my bed. I was like, Wyoming, get your shoes on. She knows. She's like, not to yet.
Right.
And I'm standing by my bed and boop, baby comes out in my shorts and I just kneel on the floor. I scoop her out of my underpants and I just kneel on the floor and like, and I looked up and there was Wyoming. She's so obedient. She's holding her little purple shoes and she put her hands on me and said, hug you. She just saw me give birth. Hug you.
That's
so
amazing.
Sweet. And then we went, I will say this was a sad choice, but we went to Vanderbilt afterward. I thought my friends gave birth at Vanderbilt. That's where I want to go to. And so we stayed. The nurse didn't let us go after the doctor said we could go already. And it was the middle of the night and the doctor wasn't there to say, no, I really said they could go. Anyway, but it was a great birth.
Did you go in an ambulance?
I did. I didn't have shoes. It's funny. You say, oh, this whole bag I need to have with me. I didn't even bring shoes. The pre were in California. So we're now giving birth in 3 different states, Texas, Tennessee, and now to California. And we were living in an RV. We had a travel trailer. My husband was doing tree care for an RV resort out there. It was really fun. And actually, we were so broke. We had our last $50 and we thought, and I had poison ivy all over my pregnant self. We didn't realize it. Our dog got in something. So we washed her and I thought, oh, great. I'm really allergic. So I get it. And it doesn't take 3 days to show up. It's like next day I see it. Okay. All right. I know I have poison. So I'm going to wash it with soap and water. We'll be fine. But we're boondocking or like we only have a certain amount of water because we're out away from any water source. There's only so much water in the RV. So I can't scrub and shower like I would every day usually. But I thought it's only this patch. It's on my shoulder from washing my dog. It'll be fine. But then every day patches are showing up. My pregnant belly is red and blotchy. And there's this cold rushing stream. Like I'm going to go and I don't like cold water. I grew up next to the tepid Mississippi. That's what I want. I don't care if it's muddy and I can't see my hand in it. I want warm water. But I went in this cold mountain water, this stream, and I'm scrubbing and soaping and dipping 8.5, 9 months pregnant right now. And so I'm washing off and Brandon said, could no one see you? You can't see the road from there. I'm like, no, I'm completely enclosed. And we drive out and I said, that's where I was. I can see it perfectly from the road. And there was this couple, he said there was a couple walking. This man and woman were walking up through the mountain. And if they just looked barely off the shoulder of the road down this opening, they could see a very pregnant woman blotchy from the poison oak. Like a mystical creature.
Siren.
Oh my gosh, so pregnant. Oh, look what happened. He just spit up on your floor and is playing with it.
Hey, Momcult listeners. Joy here. I don't think Sarah's going to do any ads anymore, and I just haven't wanted to ask her because she's got a lot on her plate. Anyway, don't tell her I said anything. Have you ever been to Camel Express Car Wash? Well, I have, and I was there recently. And I used their crazy high-powered vacuums and went to town on the car seat, and it felt so rewarding. So even if that's all you want to go there for, you could just go for the vacuum, and then the wash will be free. All you have to do is text Momcult to 30400. That's Momcult, one word, to 30400 to get a code for a free $25 car wash texted to your phone. Visit camelexpress.com to find your Camel today. Do you have, you just seem so chill all the time. Do you have your mom rage moments where you're just like totally tapped out?
I do. It's amazing, but I think anger is my first emotion at anything. Powerlessness, stub my toe. I do. And then understanding comes like, oh, I've been this person before. I've been my kid before. I've been my husband before in this situation. And so, but yes. But I'm so much quicker now to be like, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Let me model that at least. That was a terrible moment of weakness, and that's not on you. That was me. So I'm trying to model that because I don't think I had that. So yes, the rage is real. I think in church actually a couple weeks ago, my friend Cindy was talking and said, I was a yeller. Right? And then she looked at me and said, you're not a yeller, are you? And I was like, oh, I yell.
Oh, I'm a yeller.
Oh, I yell. But we can move on. Should we save that birth stories for next time over wine?
Did we talk about any pop culture thing? Anything worldly or binging or into these days?
You have tons of time for TV, right?
Yeah. Well, I fall asleep just during it a lot more. I used to have to finish a movie, but I don't know. I don't want to endorse it, but I like watching Korean shows just so I can get better at Korean because I'm not that good at it.
Yeah, I was going to ask, are you kind of teaching all of them a little bit or just certain words?
Yeah,
or
just like, I will spank you.
Sounds more intimidating in Korean.
Yes. Brandon has come around to Korean subtitled movies with me, which I guess is a happy cultural, which I saw as a weakness in my family. I didn't see my parents bridging the cultural gap. But look at us, me and Brandon, Korean subtitle movies.
Yeah,
it's happening.
It's all happening. Beautiful. Do you have anything you want to leave our listeners with? Anything that's on that?
You've given us a lot of wisdom.
That big heart of yours.
Yes.
Goodness. I do want to really, really emphasize that our bodies, if you're a pregnant lady, if you've got the lady parts, God you're designed to do it well. So don't be scared. Just breathe the baby down. And there are lots of resources to aid you and that. Well, can I just give you my other birth stories?
Oh, yeah.
Because I think number 5 was like the pinnacle. So Rambo was given birth at an Airbnb. I wanted a full-size bathtub. So Brandon, we booked an Airbnb and like with like 30 minutes before birth time. And then Saint was she was a home birth where we were at, which was again the easiest of those first 4, but the hardest place in marriage. So that was the only birth I cried at because I thought, I'm bringing this baby into a grumpy marriage. It was so sad, but I'm great, fine. And
everything's fine.
Everything's fine. Ostrich. And then number 5. So I followed this lady. Shout out to the Naked Doula. She's from the UK, I want to say, and she's on Instagram. But she Kiko, knees in, calves out. She said, breathe the baby down. So I breathe through every contraction, and so of course you feel the pressure, you feel it. But I would say it was as near painless as could be. I just was that much aware. So I was surprised when my uterus started shuddering to push the baby down. And again, it was a dry cabin. We bought this from Walmart, a Coleman inflatable hot tub. Brandon brought water. He had COVID at the time, dumping buckets of water. We had to borrow generators, one generator. Anyway, it was a saga of broken generators, and Brandon fixed it right before birth time. He got the kid settled, was finally in his little camping chair in this cabin in Alaska. I really think like 5 seconds after no more talk, then I say, maybe you could hit record. So Brandon's like, really? What now? And so we have beautiful footage of the side of the Coleman inflatable hot tub as I'm giving birth.
Your version of like your normal gives me anxiety.
I don't think you're alone in that. I'm pretty sure I've heard that before.
It's like it's been normalized in this hour talking to you. So I just a minute ago go, wait, you were in Alaska and what? Like I was like,
wait with no water and no pout. Wait, what?
And then
you're just like breezing through these details.
I gotta say that's not just being like what do you call it about being positive? Chronically positive. That's not just that.
No, there's another word.
That's like a level of strength and gratitude and connectedness to what you want and love for your family and for being a mom, and like that's bad. That's like some serious shit.
So him in Alaska, dry cabin. Yeah. And then the next morning I was tested positive for COVID. So like, here we are alone.
Did he get COVID?
No, he didn't. But it was, I mean, we did skin to skin, but I didn't kiss his face like I would. You just get nose to nose with your baby. We didn't have that, for those first 10 days, whatever, 12 days, and to make sure I was okay. But it was anyway.
Dang.
That's wild.
Yeah. We shy away from pain. We shy away from the testing in lots of ways. And I said, just embrace it. It makes you stronger on the other side. And pain is an incredible experience too. Like those moments in movies or stories, or when you were there with your grandpa as he lay with us, after a stroke, those are formative moments. So I think all these moments are really important to feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're really embracing it all, it seems.
I gotta embrace those dishes, man.
Yeah, you just gotta embrace the dishes now. It's all that's left.
It's the pinnacle. I probably won't be as humble next time we meet because I'm gonna master that so soon.
And coming to see your laundry room.
Yeah.
You'll be impressed, I'm sure.
It was so good to see you, Liz.
Yes.
Thank you so much
Thank you for this awesome
driving the 8
space.
hours it took you to get
This is
here.
a serious effort. We really appreciate it.
But now that I know that like every minute of your life is a serious effort, it feels like not that big of a deal that you drove all the way here. It's kind of expected.
It gives
Only an hour and a half.
It's going to be intense. I'm in.
This is my Thursday, my self Thursday. This was giving quite alone time, mostly in the car. 2 babies to being up with 2 incredible ladies.
And tonight,
I know.
we've got more. Tonight, Kathy. Kathy with a C or Kathy with a K?
It's
I
a
almost
C.
asked that.
Yeah.
I did. I almost asked that the first time.
Yeah. She's that gentle curve of she's not all pokey like a K. She's
Nice.
She's a
soft Kathy.
Yeah. You should have her sometime. If you could. It's a gift to the world that she exists.
How many kids does she have? Did she have them in a bathtub?
She's got 3 and one's on the way.
Boring.
Yeah. She's incredible. Anyway, I know it's so humbling to be around so many tough ladies. Everybody,
I do not feel tough.
Oh my
You are
gosh.
tough. You are.
I feel like a bare minimum kind of gal.
It's not true.
Maybe that's why you're so approachable too. You're not. You have a good estimation of yourself because you have so many reasons to be puffed up, but you're not.
Will you list them for me?
Well, I said your legs. I'll say it again. Look at those legs.
Seems like has been in therapy, has not.
You're fun. You're a great dancer. You sing well. You're like very artistic, creative. You're a present mother. You have a fun space. Great marriage. You do support your husband.
That's true.
All the things.
Yeah.
Many things. You're fun to be around. You're easygoing.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Beautiful.
guys. I feel like I was the guest today.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
hold hands.
I love you guys.
See you.
Thanks for listening, ladies.
Thank you.
You're welcome, everyone.
Oh, you can follow?
Yeah.
Can
Oh.
follow Liz September. No.
All my
not
stuff's
that.
private.
Yeah.
Mm,
Don't
you
follow
can't.
her. You can't.
Don't follow me.
You can
Yeah.
follow us at Momcult Podcast.
Hey.
No. The Momcult
Oh, you
Podcast.
don't.
What is it again?
I think it's the Momcult Podcast.
The Momcult
Ooh, I don't
Podcast.
know.
I think it's Momcult Podcast. Search those 2 things, and then you can see our thing on there. Then you'll keep going, and you'll encounter a wizard.
Wait, I'm going to look at it right here.
It'll say turn left.
You can follow us at Momcult Podcast. And
Find our socials there.
yeah,
Give us some stars on iTunes. However you do that, that would be helpful.
yeah, I can't tell. Like, I don't really care, but I feel like I'm supposed to care.
Well, I will care. I will say, whatever your strong feelings are, put 5 stars on there.
Yeah.
There you go.
And also, I want to support Brandon Reed Music and All Tree Plus, our tree company. So if you live in Hohenwald, we did used to service Nashville. Now we're focusing on home, which is great because my husband gets to be home. All Tree Plus.
All Tree Plus. You heard it here.
You're welcome.
Only if you're in Hohenwald.
To all our Hohenwald listeners, please out there.
Yes, it's a growing majority.
Probably.
It is, honestly. I've looked at land out there recently. It's beautiful.
Awesome. I love it.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Liz.